Start with poem number 2, The Laburnum Top, written by Ted Hughes. Now, this poem gives us the details of the poets watching a laburnum tree which has a nest of a goldfinch. And the poet also tries to convey us a message that all the life forms go through a series of transformations. Now, let us recite the poem and then I'll be explaining the poem to you. The laburnum top is silent, quite still. In the afternoon, yellow September sunlight, a few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. Till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup, a suddenness, a startlement at a branch end. Then slick as a lizard and alert and abrupt, she enters the thickness and a machine starts up. Of chitterings and a tremor of wings and trillings, the whole tree trembles and thrills. It is the engine of her family. She strokes it full, then flirts out to a branch end, showing her bad face identity mask. Then, with eerie, delicate whistle, chirrup, whisperings, she launches away towards the infinite, and the laburnum subsides to empty. Now, in the first stanza, that is, the laburnum top is silent, quite still, in the afternoon, yellow September sunlight. A few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. Now, the poet he describes an afternoon in the month of the September. That the laburnum tree is silent, it is still, there is no movement in that tree as there is no breeze. And the leaves of the laburnum tree it has also turned yellow and its seeds have fallen. So you can see that there is no motion in the tree, there is no movement in the tree. Till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup, a suddenness, a startlement at a branch end. And no sooner does the goldfinch enters or lands on the branch of a tree, then it smoothly gets into the thickness of the nest, thickness of the tree, and then it suddenly abrupts and the smooth movement of that bird. Here it is the smooth, slick as lizard means it is the smooth movement of the bird. It is compared with the movement of the lizard. How the lizard, very thickness of the tree. At that time, what happens? She enters the thickness and a machine starts up of chitterings and the tremor of wings and trillings, as if though the engine has started. As soon as the goldfish, you can see when the mother, the babies, when it starts or it looks at the mother, it starts chirping, and the whole atmosphere is filled with the chirping of the birds, as if though the engine has started. When the engine slowly starts and then it gains the speed, you can see and the whole tree trembles and the tree starts trembling and it is filled with the sounds made by the birds and the babies. It is the engine of a family. She strokes it full, then flirts out to a branch and showing her bad face identity mask. It is the engine of her family. She strokes it full, then flirts out to a branch and showing her bad face identity mask. That means here the bird, it is the engine of her family. How without the engine the train cannot move. The other bodies, the other, we can say the other bogies cannot move. Same way here also the mother is the engine of the family. And when she is feeding the babies get all the required energy from the food and they become strong. And when when you get more energy, you start making more noise in the class. Okay, after the recess the noise is heard, become now strong enough, and so the chirping of the birds is also heard more. Then with eerie delicate whistle chirrup whispering, she launches away towards the infinite and the laburnum subsides to empty. Laburnum tree. You can see the shadow on her face. The shadow is seen on her face because of the flowers, and that shadow, because of that shadow, it looks as if though she is wearing a mask that has bars on it. And then the goldfinch, it flies away towards the vast blue sky. Okay, so in this poem, the laburnum, it is a and also it has poisonous seeds. Now this laburnum tree is quiet and lands on its branch and enters the thickness of the tree, and when it starts feeding the babies, the whole tree comes to liveliness. And when again the tree becomes motionless and still, how it was earlier. Okay, I hope you have understood the poem. So now I'll be explaining you the figures of speech of this poem. So just get ready with your textbook. You can just have a look at the text also. Top is silent, quite still. Now here in the first line, that the two words, that is silent and quite still, they are being used in the line which has the same meaning. So unnecessary, here the unnecessary use of the words having the same meaning is used in the same line. So the figure of speech used is tautology. In the next line, in the afternoon, yellow September sunlight. Now over here you have two adjectives which is qualifying the noun sunlight, that is yellow and September. Now yellow, as you know, it's the name of the color, and September is the name of the month. So here there's two adjectives, that is yellow. Yellow is transferred from color to sunlight, and another adjective September, that is transferred from month to sunlight. So the figure of speech used is transferred epithet. The next one, a few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. Now here fallen means it shows the death of the tree. So instead of saying that the leaves have died, the poet has used the word fallen. So anything which is told in a mild way, in a nice way, instead of using a harsh language, I've used a polite language to express the death of the leaves. So the figure of speech used is euphemism. Euphemism is a figure of speech wherein anything harsh is being told in a nice tone. And again here one more, that is the leaves and seeds which are the part of the tree. Now actually when we are talking about the leaves and seeds, we are not talking only about the leaves and seeds, we are talking about the whole laburnum tree. So the part of a whole, the part is used for the whole tree. So the figure of speech used is synecdoche. And the next, that is till the goldfinch comes with her twitching chirrup. Here you can see the sounds are being expressed in this line, that is chirrup. So whenever any sound will be suggested in a line, the figure of speech is onomatopoeia. A startlement at a branch end. Again here the branch, the word branch, it stands for the whole laburnum tree. So again here we are using a part for the whole, that is why the figure of speech is synecdoche. Then slick as a lizard and alert and abrupt. Now here the word as, it denotes the comparison, and the comparison is between the goldfinch, the bird, and the lizard. Both are slick. The goldfinch is said to be as slick, that is smooth, as a lizard. So there is comparison between the goldfinch and lizard, and the point of comparison is smoothness. Next one, she enters the thickness and the machine starts up. Now here the word thickness, it represents the laburnum tree, and the machine, it represents the baby birds making sounds and fluttering their small. She enters the thickness and the machine starts up. Now the figure of speech used in this line is metonymy because the word thickness by the mother bird. And the next one of chitterings and tremor of wings and trillings. Again here the sounds are being expressed in the line. So the figure of speech is onomatopoeia, the sounds which are wings. It doesn't stand only for the wing, it stands for the whole. They are having the same rhyming sound. So the rhyming words are used over here, that is chitterings, wings and trillings. So the figure of speech used here is internal rhyme. The whole tree trembles and thrills. The figure of speech used in this line is personification, as the inanimate tree is given the human quality of trembling and thrilling. Then there is also an overstatement here that the whole tree is trembling. We can see a person trembling, isn't it? Shivering due to cold or due to fear, but we cannot see that the tree is trembling. So here there is an exaggeration, an overstatement that the whole tree is trembling. So the figure of speech used is hyperbole. Next one, it is the engine and next she strokes it full, then flirts out the branch end. Now here the tree, it is given the human quality to flirt. So the figure of speech used is person. Strokes it full. It represents the feeding her babies till they are satisfied. Strokes it full. This is a word which gives out the meaning that it represents the meaning that feeding the babies till they are satisfied. So the figure of speech used is metonymy. The next is showing her bad face identity mask. The figure of speech used here is transferred epithet because the adjective bad, it has been transferred from flowers to bird, goldfinch. Now there is another figure of speech used in this line, that is metaphor. Why? Because here there is a comparison between the falling of the laburnum flowers and the bars. And there is an indirect comparison between the laburnum flowers and the bars, and the point of comparison between both is of falling down. Then with the ed delicate whistle, chirrup whisperings. Now here again in this line, there are the words like whistle, chirrup and whisperings which suggest sound. As you all know, when words expressing sounds are being suggested or are given in the same line, then the figure of speech used is onomatopoeia. The next one, she launches, that the bird, it moves away in the blue, vast blue sky. Here this word infinite, it now here this figure of speech used in this line is metonymy. As you know that metonymy is a figure of speech in which a word, it represents the other word which has a closely associated. The sky, the word infinite, it represents the sky. So the word sky is closely related with the word infinite. So here the word infinite is used for the word sky. So the figure of speech is metonymy. And the last one, that is, and the laburnum subsides to empty. And the laburnum, that is, you know, that name of the tree, it subsides to empty, means it has become empty. So there is an overstatement, there is an exaggeration that the whole tree has become empty. So the figure of speech used here is hyperbole. Okay, so here we end with this session of figure of speech and the explanation of the poem. Now we'll be meeting in the next session. Till then, goodbye.